It's been a nice warm summer, Thomas. We're here in the broccoli plot of the Bejo research farm in Geneva, New York, just a few short miles away from the Cornell experiment station here in Geneva, New York. This is Thomas Björkman. He's the lead of the Eastern Broccoli Project, and Bejo and other seed companies have been working very closely together with the Eastern Broccoli Project to see what can we do together to respond to the changing conditions and still have good broccoli production here in the Northeast. Actually, how can we improve broccoli production here in the Northeast? It's been a great project and we've made some really nice progress. There have been difficult growing conditions in the Northeast. Things have gotten really hot, things have gotten really dry, in some cases things are getting really wet. And all these stressful conditions make it very difficult to grow good quality broccoli. Let's take a close-up look maybe, Thomas, and maybe you can explain a few things about what does heat mean and how does it damage broccoli?
So broccoli is adapted to a cool night environment. All of the typical growing areas for broccoli are where there are cool nights, and that's not true of the Northeast. And so having broccoli that will grow in the Northeast requires changing the adaptation of the broccoli. So what is the problem? Here's a great example. It's been a wonderful summer for showing the problems with the classic varieties. So this is an excellent broccoli variety in cool conditions. In the warm conditions we've had this summer, the nights have not been cool enough to trigger the formation of flower buds in the full size, so they stop early, they make a very ugly head, leaves start growing out of the head. This is what broccoli was like when the project started. And changing that requires bringing in new germplasm. So we're working with Bejo's breeding program. Their brassica breeding program is one of the absolute best in the world, has excellent germplasm. People know what to do with it, but bringing in this adaptation was something new that we were able to do over the last 15 years.
That's great, Thomas. Thanks very much for that explanation. Maybe we should take a look at what some of the standard varieties look like and what some of the new improvements can do for us.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look. Well, Thomas, here we are in a little plot of Eastern Crown. Eastern Crown has been pretty much evolved as the standard variety for heat-tolerant broccoli in the Northeast. Is it perfect? Let's take a look. Shall we? We'll cut a couple of heads here. Here, you carry them out. I'll cut them. I'll be the cutter, you be the carrier.
Yeah.
Nice looking beads, don't you think, Thomas?
It's really improved heat tolerance from what the previous varieties had. So nice progress there. That's why it's taken over the market. And very heavy head as well. That's been helpful. Nice. Those are the two traits that really have made it successful.
It makes some size. There's some dingles, maybe not perfect. We have some other heads here that we can show.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not bulletproof, that's for sure. Our conditions are tough. There's one with an uneven bead. It's not as obvious as on the other ones, but this is on the edge of acceptability. Some loads will accept it. So it's not bulletproof in the conditions that we have here. It's a great improvement over the past, but there's still room for having something that's more reliable.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think they call it Eastern Crown?
Well, they figured that it would grow in the east and it made a good crown cut.
Can you bunch it?
That would be tough bunching there.
No stem. So it's a crown cut only, and you can eat that pretty good. Let's take a look at the new variety from Bejo and Cornell, shall we? Here we are, Thomas, in 3622, a new experimental. It's the result of a breeding line from Cornell combined with a breeding line from Bejo, you know, an inter-program cross. It's got everything I think that we were hoping for. It's got a nice upright plant, it's got a nice tall stem, it's got a very good wax on the leaves. It's very well adapted to these conditions, planted at the same time as all the other broccoli that we looked at earlier in this segment. Let's take a look at one of these plants here. You can, or you can take a look at what you see in the row. What's the uniformity like? Well, every plant has a head, and every plant has a head that is within a day or two of harvest. So probably a 2-cut variety, maybe if you're really unlucky, a 3-cut variety. Not quite a 1-cut variety. No, that would be ideal, of course.
That would be nice.
That would be ideal, but you haven't quite gotten to that point yet. But Let's take a look at one of these plants over here, shall we? Here's a head of Eastern Crown. You hold that for me for a moment there. Then we'll take a look at what 3622 will do. You can see it's got plenty of stem. How much stem did we have on Eastern Crown? Let's take a look at one of these heads. So Eastern Crown sits here, 3622 sits there. Pretty nice. Let's cut this head. Look at that stem. No hollow. Nice tall stem. Let's take a look at these beads. Looks very similar, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's getting very good head density too. So a loosening head is a tremendous problem in the high temperature growth. Keeping the stems in the head itself short so that you get a good density has been a real challenge.
Yep.
And I think we've got that covered in this one also.
What kind of a name should we give it? Should
Do
we
you want to call it Eastern Stem?
Eastern Stem? Eastern Stem and Crown?
That won't sell.
No, I don't know, that would not. But you get the drift. Eastern Crown, crown only.
Yeah.
3622. You could make it into a crown cut if that's what you want to sell. If you want to add a little extra weight or a little extra value for the customer, you can sell it with the stem on. Of course, plant it a little bit closer density, make the stem a little thinner, then it's ideal for bunching as well. So a multi-use, well-adapted variety for the Northeast. We happen to have, Thomas, you saw the seed production.
Yes.
We have a nice seed production in California of it in a special cage. We have about 15 to 20 kilos, I think, that we expect to get out of it. We'll give it all that seed away for free. So you can try it. Try 2,000 seeds, try 5,000 seeds, 10,000 seeds. Talk to your supplier and ask him for trial seed of 3622. We give you the seed for free. We only ask one thing, that you let us know if you like it. It's just, yes, I like it, or no, I don't. Or maybe I'll plant it again, maybe not. That's all we want from you. But if you give us that, we'll give you free seed. Isn't that a deal?